back to our daily show. Here's CJ. Downtown Alton. That's the 15th day of September. We already halfway through the month. Isn't that wild?
It's crazy.
Well, I don't know about how you guys operate because you have the daycare and there's so many kids running around and you're full all the time.
Right.
Does the summer fly by for you pretty quick?
The summer flies by, the years fly by. Like it just seems like every month gets faster and faster than the month before. It's crazy.
Well, and we were talking a couple of months ago about September being Child Passenger Safety Awareness Month, correct?
Yes.
Did I actually get that right?
You did. You got it correct. Good job.
Normally I buy something a morning. I'm feeling good now. And it's such a crucial topic because, when I was a kid even, things were a lot different.
Exactly. Yes. Everything's changed from even 10 years ago.
Really?
So one of the newer laws that's been in effect, it's been in effect for about 4 years, is that kids must be rear facing till 2. It used to be at 1, now it's at 2. And that's just because their heads are so much bigger than their bodies that if you were in a crash, you want that head to be supported versus going forward on its own. So it's really important that kids 2 and under are rear facing.
Wow. Well, and to me, I bet there's so many components like that though, where, grandma's getting, the little grandchild into the seat and then her daughter's coming up, her son going, what are you doing?
Yes. Yeah.
What changes that? Is it just more information?
It's more information. Cars changed, airbags.
Yeah.
So while we're child seat technicians, however, we also have to learn about where the airbags are in the car, so we can educate you on where your airbags come from. There's different types of seat belts, like there's retractable and latch, and there's all kinds of different seat belts now too. So you have to know what seat you have. You have to know where your airbags are. So it's a lot of things to have to know to make sure that the seat is the safest it can be for your child.
See, and I wouldn't even have thought about those aspects of design, the way it's laid out, and just
so
crucial.
There's some cars that have airbags in the seat belt itself, and for those cars, it's not safe to buckle a car seat into them because if that airbag, then it's going to really mess up that seat. If that airbag were to go off,
wow,
then it would mess up the seat.
It makes sense. And now, when did you start becoming a technician for child passenger safety?
So I have been doing this about 6 years.
Really?
I was really passionate about when my daughter was born, which she's much older than 6, but it was really hard in this area to find someone that could check the car seat for us because you want to make sure that your child's safe.
Right.
You can't protect what's outside the car, but you can protect what's inside the car.
True.
And so it was hard because at that time, Alton only had like 2 people on staff that could check car seats for the fire department because the fire department usually has a few people. And they were working night shifts. So it was, hard to meet schedules or, they were out on calls. And so when I found out that I could become one, I wanted to become one because, again, you can't make anything outside your car any safer, but you can make sure that what's in your car, including your passengers, everything in it.
Well, and too, there's so many people that, you never know the fear and the kind of thoughts that go through your mind unless you're in that new parent situation or a new child you're pregnant, expecting, and then all of a sudden the realization hits you that there's a lot of things that are dangerous out there.
Right, yeah, there are. And not to scare people, but you just want to make sure that what your precious cargo is safe. So I want to kind of go over some of the bigger rules. Rear facing till 2 is a big one that's come out. The other one is that all kids should be under the age of 8 should be in a booster or a car seat. So a lot of people think, my kid's in kindergarten, I don't need anything, like the seatbelt fits correctly. And that seatbelt doesn't quite fit usually correctly in most cars for most kids. So the state of Illinois has the rule that you have to be in a booster or a car seat until the age of 8.
Wow.
They suggest the back seat till 13. And that's all because of bone development. So once a kid hits puberty, their bones get a little bit stronger. They can have a little bit more. Because we get a lot, my friend who's 4'8", do they need to be in a car seat? Like you hear that a lot because that's what they say, 4'8".
Right.
And your 4'8" might have a little bit of a harder time seeing in the front seat or over the steering wheel. However, their bones have matured, their bones have grown. So in an accident, they might not get as hurt as much as a younger kid who's not seatbelted because those bones are a little bit more brittle.
No, I got to ask the question because I was the teenager or preteen that was giving mom and dad fits about not sitting in the front seat because they were strict about it. We were 10 and 11 and it was like, hey,
Yep.
pop in the back. What's your advice to a parent that maybe is dealing with the teenager or preteen that's going, but Mom, let me sit in the front seat?
So my kids are both over that. My son is just turned 12 now, and he's like, well, when's it my turn? When's it my turn? And they've always been in the back seat, and we've always talked about car seat safety, like when they transitioned over to a seatbelt. So you want to make sure that the seatbelt sits up here on the shoulder, not on their neck. This goes for adults too. You want it on your shoulder, not on your neck. Then down below, you want it like almost hitting your hips, not up on your belly.
I have been wearing seatbelts wrong.
So for most car seats in the front seat, now I'm talking about like a regular car seat, not an infant car seat or anything, but there should be an adjustable thing over on the side to make it so that seatbelt sits on your shoulder. And that should be on both sides, the driver and the passenger side. So you can make sure that seatbelt. And then you want it low on your hips. If it isn't on your abdomen, and you're in a car crash, it's going to, you have your spleen, you have all kinds of things there. If it's down more on your pelvic hip bone, your bones are going to help protect that seat.
You know what's funny is it's so like just eye-opening because hearing you say it makes total sense. But then again, here's me driving in my car with the seatbelt that's hanging over my gut, knowing you're right. I mean, if you get into an abrupt accident, you're going to damage some organs.
Right, because that seatbelt's going to hold you into place like it should, but it's not sitting where it should.
And then the inertia hits, and you're still technically going 70 or how fast you're going until you come to that. That is so fascinating. I knew I'd be learning some stuff today. So is that the same too? So with going back to the teenager thing or the 12, is it just making sure that you stress once they get to that point, hey, you got to keep it here. It's not because I'm being a helicopter parent. It's just the way it should be.
Well, and you can explain it. You don't have to get on YouTube and watch horrible crashes or anything. But you can explain, just what we talked about is, well, let's feel our organs. Like if you feel your belly, it's squishy. If you feel your hips, they're not. And so that makes a bit like just helping them educate. And my daughter will get in the car with her friends and she's like, my mom's going to tell you your seatbelt's on wrong.
Do they really?
And so, we'll go out with friends and they'll be like, oh, well, I can sit in the front seat. I'm like, and my daughter will be like, no, my mom's going to make you sit in the back. And it's true because no matter who I'm transporting, I want to make sure that they're as safe as they can be. So I know it's hard as a teenager, and then you get to that point because they get in the front seat at 13, now they're driving at 15, and so they don't have as much time in the front seat for that.
Does it cause issues, do you think?
I don't know. My daughter's just about to that 15, so we'll see, but I talked to like a person who does the driver's ed, and she's like, does she know where what side the blinkers and wipers are on? I'm like, no,
that's your job.
No. I'm like, no, probably not. But, so that's important. When they are rear facing, so when they are 2 and under, and you can go up to the weight of the car seat. So a lot of car seats will go up to 40 pounds in the rear facing position.
Okay.
And parents will tell me, oh, well, their legs are so long, like they just seem uncomfortable. Well, if you've ever seen a kid 4 or under, the positions they get themselves in, the things they do, their legs, they'll learn to put them up on the seat or they'll put them over the sides of the seat. And again, if people are really, really concerned, there is some leg damage that could happen in one. It's usually just like a broken leg. It's usually pretty easy. But a broken leg is a lot easier to heal than your neck, your head, that kinds of stuff. And again, that broken leg is very, very rare. But in the same sense, it's safer to be
weighing out those pros and cons of, do you want to deal with a spinal injury or a leg injury?
Right.
Okay.
For rear facing, the straps need to be below their shoulders. So there's little pegs in the back of a car seat that you can string it up, or some are really nice and they have the up and down
I
movement.
like the up and down one.
But it needs to be below their shoulders. If they are rear facing, because if they're going back, you want to hold them down. So, so they're sitting backwards, the car is going this way, you're going to hold them down if you were hit from behind or hit on the front.
Because if they're up, it's just they have room.
Yep.
This is all, and I'm not being preacher. I mean, this is all making so much sense, and it's all things that I've experienced with little nephews and, cousins, you name it, loading them in.
Yeah.
Realizing that I probably wasn't the most safe individual out there. But how many parents do you talk to that go, kind of maybe not feel bad, but
so when I do car seat checks, and I offer them at my daycare, I offer them to the public, I will say that 98% of the seats are installed wrong. And it could be something little, the height strap needs to be a little bit better, but you also get into, so if it's rear facing, it's below. If you're forward facing, then it needs to be above, because we're doing the same thing. We're pushing back. So sometimes it's a little bit with that. When they go forward facing, there's a new thing called a top tether. So that comes out of the top of the car seat, it goes back behind your seat, and it has a hook to hook into. And if your car is older than 2000, it's not required, but there's ways that you can do the top tether. But that top tether, when you take the car seat, because the car seat's kind of buckled in down, or the seat belt is buckled into the car seat down here. So we're keeping this from going, like having too much back and forth. So that top tether, so that's one of the mistakes we see. A big one as we're going into this cooler weather, you know, people are like, all right, got to break out the jackets, got to break out the coats, got to break out that stuff. And that is actually one of the biggest misuses in car seats, because you should not have a big puffy jacket under the car seat, because now you've loosened that car seat so much that it's not going to give that protection. Guess what? Adults shouldn't wear heavy jackets in the car either.
See, now that is a fascinating thing.
Because it's the same thing. You've pushed that seatbelt further out, so now we have further
to go,
to move.
Yeah.
And you want it, you know, you don't want it, you want it to give you a hug, but it's...
Time and force are not a good thing. The more time you have to move, the more impact you're going to have.
Right.
This is so cool. I'm so glad we're talking about this. So for, you know, what's your advice? Because I know it's a mental thing and a habitual thing for some parents, I'm sure, that have had multiple kids and everything else, because I've seen it time and time again, especially in wintertime, the kids all in the cute little puff jacket and you put them in the car seat. Is it just retelling yourself, all right, take the jacket off, then when we get... So
there's a few different ways to do it. You know, if you have a garage, then your car isn't that cold.
Right.
Sometimes people go warm them up. If you don't have those opportunities, there are things called car coats, and they look kind of like a little bit of a blanket. So then once you get the kid in the car, the back part goes kind of back over the seat, and then you can buckle underneath the jacket.
Wow.
There's also really thin fleece jackets that you can wear. So the way to test a jacket, whether it's safe in the car seat or not, and it's hard for an adult, you can't test an adult, but for a kid, you put the straps and you make sure that they're tight. So that top strap should be right at their armpit level. You should have it buckled, and you should not be able to pinch the fabric. Mm-hmm. You can fit your fingers underneath it, but you shouldn't be able to pinch any fabric at the hips or up top. Okay. And so that's how you know it's tight. So then you wiggle their arms out, you get them out, you put the jacket on, you put them back in and buckle it. If it can buckle at that same rate, then you're fine in that jacket.
Gotcha.
If you have to loosen the straps, then that jacket is not something that they should wear in the car.
Is there a point where it's almost too much protection for a car seat? Because I know there's some parents, especially those first couple of weeks, where it's like throw the security wall up, put the electric fence. You know, is there a point?
There's a few things. So you should never put anything in the car seat that was not purchased with the car seat. Okay. So a lot of times people want to go get the cute little like headrest things for them. Those have not been crash tested with that car seat. So they cannot guarantee their safety. They might be safe, but they haven't been tested. So you want to make sure that they're tested. The other thing is, I lost my train of thought. You know, it just flew out. It flew out the window.
And that's what, you know, the thing is, I mean, all those things, I mean, they add to the bigger picture, because, you know, to me, it goes one or two ways. It's the parent that goes, oh, well, come on now. We did this with our oldest and nothing happened. We're fine. You know, middle child, youngest, you know how that goes. But there's also the young parent that is, you know, Googling things. And when you Google, that's when it gets dangerous. You know, and I'm sure that you have a plethora of questions asked each time you come and do this is, am I doing too much? Am I doing too little? Did they add any new regulations this year for any safety?
They have not. The biggest thing is to watch for recalls. And Safe Kids Worldwide is one of the best websites you can go to for car seat safety. They're going to give you on that website, you're going to be able to find car seat techs in your area. On that website, you're going to be able to find out the laws. You know, you're traveling by car from here to Arizona.
Yeah.
In Arizona, what is there? And I don't know off the top of my head.
I'm not going to ask.
I only know Illinois. But what are their rules?
Yeah.
You know, sometimes it's a little bit higher in those restraints or, you know, different things. So if you're really curious and want to know what it is in those states, Safe Worldwide has that. Recalls, not only with car seats, but bath products, anything related to kids, they put that on their website. So that is an amazing website as a parent to have. Also having someone lay eyes, because we kind of went back to like 98% of the seats I look at have something wrong. One of the other things with that is there's a latch system that's for car seats.
Gotcha.
The latch can only go in certain positions based on your car. So you need to look at your owner manual. A lot of people think the middle is safest. It's really not. It's wherever the seatbelt can get the best fit and wherever you feel comfortable is the best. Because sometimes the middle seat is a distraction because we're constantly looking over our shoulder. Are they okay? And so sometimes over to the side, then you can glance or see in the mirror. So that's a little bit of a misconception. The other thing is, again, going to that safest, is there's the latch system. So they buckle in the latch system and then they put the car seat or the seatbelt across it and they're like, all right, well, now they're double tight. Well, we went back to that force, right? They need to have a little bit of space. If you were in an accident, you don't want them so tight they can't move.
Right.
So, but you don't want them moving in the seat. You want the seat itself moving because you want it to kind of all go as one piece. So if it's buckled in with the latch and then buckled in with the seatbelt, then sometimes it's too tight and it can't have that ride down. So it's usually, and again, car seats, you never say never, but you usually do not use both at the same time. You use one or the other. And again, there's no safer one. It depends on where you can get the tightest. There's some seat belts I've put in with latch thinking, all right, this is going to be easy. And then I take it out and I put it in with the seatbelt and it's a much better fit. For whatever reason, it's, you know, car seats dip down like an actual car. Like if you have more of a sportsy kind of car, it dips down a little bit in the back. If you have more of your minivan, it sits a little bit more level. So it all kind of depends on what kind of car you have.
I have two questions for you that I've been thinking about. One is it dangerous to have the rear view mirror seat attachment? Because I see a lot of parents that have that. And to me, I'm too much of a busybody that I would be going, oh, okay, what's little Johnny doing now and not paying attention to the road?
So it's not as much about that, but we go back to that, you know, everything has a weight. So you have something that's 1 pound.
Yep.
You're in an accident at 5 pounds, or 5 miles an hour, that becomes a 5 pound object.
Oh.
You have a 1 pound object, you're going 50.
It's a 50 pound
It's a 50 pound object. So you've got to be careful. And that's for everything in your car.
Right.
Kleenex boxes in your back seat aren't a good idea.
Really?
Because that Kleenex box comes and now it has all this force.
In inertia and everything. Oh my goodness. This is like the coolest conversation.
You're a pencil. And, you know, I'm trying not to go into detail, but we have to meet, or part of our training is we meet with a crash specialist, and he talks about different things that they've seen over time and of accidents and everything. But a pencil, you know, it's sitting in that back seat. Well, now it has all this room to fly. Your animals should be with a seatbelt in your car.
Is there, oh man, that's a whole nother topic. Okay, hold on. So for the parents, and I have to ask you about that in a whole different conversation. For grandparents, because a lot of them I've noticed don't have the base. Right. You know, maybe it's a quick transition. Somebody just has to go run and pick up, you know, the nephew, grandchild. Right. What's your is it just noticing the seatbelt?
Yeah, so you got to watch on the seats. Like on all the seats, if you just have that seat without a little bit of a base in it, it should have a level line. So you want to make sure that that is level with the ground. Now here in Alton, that's sometimes a little bit tricky because everything's on a little bit of a hill, so you're kind of guessing a little bit. But you should try to get a flat surface and see if that line is flat, and that's how you should have it buckled in.
That's really cool. And how many of these checks do you do a month?
It kind of varies. Sometimes I get a lot. Sometimes it's 1 or 2, but I'm always there, and I don't charge. Some will, which again, I think $5 is worth your time and making sure that your car seat is safe. But I make sure that every parent leaves. My goal is for every parent to leave safer than they come in.
Absolutely.
And we can help with resources of where to find car seats if money's a little tight. We usually put out when Target has their exchange event. So you take a old seat and then they'll give you a 20% discount for a new seat or anything child baby related.
That's really cool.
So, and sometimes people aren't interested and we'll take the seats and then we'll do that where we can help others then when it's time.
That's awesome. And what's the best way to reach out for you for all this?
So again, going through that Safe Kids Worldwide, you can find me on there. I own Little Knights Daycare, so you can find me at Little Knights if you call Little Knights.
We were going to promote it, but you guys have such a wait list. I don't know if we should.
We do. We have a really long long wait list. But I usually, that's where I usually do
That's
my
so
car seat
cool.
checks. Is I'll take time out of my day to get them done there. As parents get off work, and so yeah.
That's awesome. Shannon Knight, I really appreciate this conversation, and I really appreciate your time. I know you're busy and got to get back to it.
All those kids are always needing something. But I love it. I love it.
Well, and I know that so many people love this because there are so many questions when it comes to those things. What are the nuances? What's new? And really, we appreciate your time for coming in and filling us in.
Well, thank you very much for having me.
No problem. We'll take a quick break right around 9:40 on this Friday morning in downtown Alton. We'll come back with more of our daily show and wrap up the 9 o'clock that was right here after this.